Yeah, I can remember first hunting with my father, and I was given a .22, single shot, open sights, and he had the bullet in his pocket, you know. And I tell you, there was nothing safe. I wanted to shoot it. It was terrible, but I loved it. I mean, Dad, there's a rabbit. Donna, keep hiking, we're hunting elk, you know. And I thought I was gonna kill an elk or a deer with my .22. Had no idea that he was never gonna let me shoot anything with that .22. But I felt like a real hunter. I was so fortunate as a young woman because I just thought all dads took their daughter hunting. So I had no idea that being in this industry, I was pretty much flying solo. I'm Donna McDonald, and I live in the Upper Ruby Valley of Southwest Montana. We own and operate Upper Canyon Outfitters, and we offer hunting, fishing, horseback riding. I just love my life. It's great stuff. My grandparents came here in the early 1900s. My grandfather arrived here in the southwest corner in 1910 to train walking horses for doctors so they could get to calls sooner. He worked on the Larrabee Ranch for a number of years, and then he was called away to war. And when he returned, the government granted him his homestead. And my grandmother came to teach school in a one-room schoolhouse. They soon tied the knot, and they had 6 children. My grandfather was a true rancher, a sheep and cattle rancher. My grandfather passed away when my dad was only 14 years old. My grandmother was forced to sell the majority of our land. We have a small 280 section as now. At one time we had over a couple thousand acres. My dad always had a passion and love for the Ruby Valley, and he worked side by side with his father until my grandfather passed away. And my dad wanted to get back to the valley. He could not come up with a way to make a living on 300 acres in southwest Montana, where the majority of the ground is rocks. So somebody suggested, why don't you do unguided hunts? And he started to offer unguided hunts. But the secret was, he was one of the first people to get an 800 number. He got 2 800 numbers when they first came out, ran ads in Field and Stream and Outdoor Life, and he was trying to make a place for the blue-collar worker to come to hunt. So it was all unguided. He offered old trailers. They were in terrible condition.
I just took out unguided hunters. I had a few old trailer houses, and later on as we got going, after we built the lodge, I told Donna, I'm not doing nothing with the summers, and told her whatever she could do with it, she's welcome to. And there was nothing going on, and she's developing into what you see today.
My mom is a big dreamer, and she did not believe that 4 trailers was enough. And so she took over, and every year she worked to make it bigger and better. And she just put a ton of work into it, and she replaced the trailers with cabins. She added on to the lodge. She formalized the business to involve guided, unguided, summer, and fly fishing was a huge thing she included. She also was the first female to sit for the outfitter test and receive her outfitter license. So she was the first woman in Montana.
I took the test and I failed, and then her husband Jake took the test and he failed. But Donna, she made the test.
She became an outfitter by test. A lot of women were outfitters, but it was through inheritance. They had had a family business and they had a loved one die and they inherited the outfitter's business, but she wanted to start one from scratch. And what tenacity to do that at a time where women, it wasn't really our thing. She wanted to introduce us to this beautiful countryside, to hunting, to sustainable living, to all of those things that make hunting so great, and not only that, conservation.
I don't think there's a better person in this valley that knows the valley like Donna does. So you get a lot of do-it-yourself hunters that come in here, and they're looking to talk to Jake, they're looking to talk to maybe Bill, and I'm like, oh, you guys need to talk to Donna. And you know, she definitely 40 years ago, even though I wasn't around, definitely took a step in the right direction and figured out this valley, figured out how the animals, not just the elk, the deer, the fish, how they all work. Her son-in-law told me year one, anything Donna tells you to do, like in hunting season, do it. Yeah, so for now, when Donna tells me to go hunt here or go fish here, I'm doing it.
I learned early on that if you wanted to know about this industry, if you wanted to help preserve it, you needed to become involved. I was the president of the Montana Outfitters and Guides Association, and then I was on the Private Land Public Wildlife Council, which is a governor-appointed council, which I'm currently on today. This is my second stint on it. I was on the board for America Outdoors, which protects outdoor recreation across the U.S., where I would fly to D.C. and visit with our representatives there to help pass legislation and for wildlife and preservation. I was also involved with the Montana state legislation as well. And currently, right now, as I said, I'm on the Private Land Public Wildlife for the state of Montana, on the board of directors for the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation and a couple of local charities and chapters. And I was also part of the Watershed Council here in the valley. And you meet some amazing people with the same passion, much like the people who walk through the door. You know, it's great to see the onset of women hunters. Younger and younger women are starting to become involved, but there's also a demographic of women in their 30s, 40s, 50s, and I've had ladies who often said, you know, I've often been curious about it, and I've taken ladies out in their 70s and taken them hunting, and I would say you're never too old. If you've got that desire, that want to learn, you can do it.
My mom always has women that she's bringing up in the industry. She takes a very feminine role in the way that she brings them up, and so I guess you could call it almost motherly. She doesn't try to be anything other than who she is. And so she doesn't try to walk in a man's world as a man. She walks in a man's world as a woman. And it helps other women feel confident knowing that they can do this just as they are, and they don't have to change how they approach the world.
Her efforts and everything that she's done have really helped preserve this way of life that we all enjoy. And the more people we get doing it, which is what Donna's all about, the more we have this opportunity to really protect our natural lands, this God-given right we have to come outside.
You don't have to be a hunter, you just have to care about conservation. And hunting really is conservation. Hunting helps preserve the wildlife and our land for future generations. I've never not had an additional passion or a goal, and I'm not at the point ever, I don't think, where I'll say, yeah, I did it. No, I want to keep going, I want to keep educating, I want to keep helping.